This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 655 for May 11th, 2020. Anime Crimes.
How could you end the router like that?
I'm pretty sure I did whatever this is.
Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston, and joining me as always is Moonpear.
Bonjour.
And the Nymph.
How's it going, everybody?
Moonpear's doing really well because he's just spamming emotes in Mixer chat the whole time.
It's what I do.
That's right. That's right. Real quick plug here again. Last week we launched our brand new show. Someone in chat says there's no sound from me. Let me fix that real quick. We launched our brand new show, Critical Misses, where we...
Sorry, I just heard a very loud "oi" from downstairs, which means that Dwight is attacking Louise.
Oh, there you go. We launched our brand new show, Critical Misses, where Moon and I go through and we watch, experience, read, and hopefully enjoy all the hits we've missed. If you're a patron, patreon.com/E1M1, the ones are numbers, at the $2 or higher tier, you get 2-month early access to it. This first season, we're going through the Fast saga. The Fast and the Furious, the first movie, is currently available for patrons right now. And I was listening to it again the other day. It's good. It's a good start to a show that every episode continues to get longer now that we're building more family history throughout this show.
Nice turn of phrase there.
Yeah, thank you.
I was going to say building more Fasterverse, but family history is a much better definition for that specific franchise. So
go listen to it. We're having a blast making the show, and I'm glad to hear that some people who have listened to it have enjoyed it so far. So patreon.com/E1M1 for that. Moon, what have you been playing this past week?
Get ready for the shortest list ever.
All right.
Okay, so I played an absolute poop ton of Apex.
Yes.
The dash to get as high as I can in the battle pass continues. I have 2 days left. I am now rank 85. So
dash as fast as your little robot legs will take you.
No, I don't play Octane.
Oh.
Maybe Pathfinder, but Octane is my wife's, so
okay.
It's really obnoxious when you just see running behind you.
Who's the character that hates Pathfinder?
That's Mirage, also one of my wife's characters, funnily enough.
Okay.
He's the hologram dude who plays tricks, and
right.
For his dive emote, he rides himself.
Wait a minute.
Phrasing, possibly?
Probably.
But yes. Yes.
Write down the show title. He rides himself and just cross it out.
Yes, I already did.
Darn. Start deleting.
Pre-veto. Yep.
Yes. But no, I'm playing a ton of Apex. Generally speaking, having a lot of fun with it. They have a new event going on right now, which is everyone starts with shields. As the event has gone on, the shields have gotten more and more complex. Only downside is right now it's Evo shields, which is the new type of shields for this season, where it gets stronger the more damage you do.
Oh, okay.
So when you start the round, you have 1 shield bar, and you have the potential to go to a maximum of 6, which is ridiculous. That's 1 more than the most rare armor in the game, essentially.
Yeah.
Slight problem, you need to do damage to do that. Our method is very much land way away from everybody and then make your way to the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely problematic when everybody in the last 10 has orange and red golden shields and you're sitting there with your BB white armor and it's just come on, please. Please.
Did they launch the new character yet, or is that next season?
That's in 2 days. So it literally, it will reset on Tuesday, and I'm pretty sure she comes in with the new season. Okay. She's already started showing up in the game. When you're in the lobby system, they have the 3 characters standing there, and if you leave her in the lobby, there's banners hanging down behind, and you can see her sneaking around behind the banners.
That's fun.
Like,
That's
it's
cool.
a really cool little touch.
I
And
like that.
yeah, they've done a good job on this. And as a former 1UP fan, I believe you were, Boston.
Yes,
back
very much so.
when they were originating. You might remember a certain person known as Tina Sanchez.
I do. Yeah, she worked on Apex.
Yep, and did a whole bunch of mocap for Lobo, including walking around in heels in those ball outfits with the cane and everything.
Oh, really?
And it's
That's fun.
really hilarious to see her walking around with the attitude of this character. It's like, cool.
Yeah.
I have been following you since you were literally a adult joking young up and comer amongst these legends of the video game industry, and now you're making one of the best games that exists.
Yeah, now
So,
you're a legend in the gaming community. Yeah.
yes. So
Yeah.
good on you,
One Up
Tina.
show, very formative for among a couple of other shows. Very important for the beginning of this show.
Yes, a 1UP show responsible for some of the best content, period, on the internet.
Yep.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. Anyway, yes, moving on from that. I played a lot of Apex. Dead by Friday happened. And my spam troll methods worked. They 100% worked because Em actually downloaded the game and then joined us on Friday.
Yeah.
At which point, both myself, my wife, Rob, and Justin all jumped in and just did a couple of private matches.
Mm.
Like, here is how the game works because, hey, this game does not do tutorials well.
Hey, as a Destiny 2 player, I get it.
Mm-hmm. So we literally just jumped into a private match. Like, I started as the killer. I was like, you show her the basics, I'll stay way the hell away so we don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
She can take her around, show her some stuff, get used to the mechanics, the skill checks, stuff like that. And I'm just going to stand over here on the other side, tormenting Justin by putting him down and then throwing him on a hook, whatever.
Right. No
I
big
was say
deal.
you didn't just like randomly pop up just to freak her out.
Right.
I didn't. I wanted to, but I didn't.
Every bone in her body was like, you need to scare her, dude. It's going to be real good.
You have no idea how hard it was to not do that.
Yeah.
Like,
Can you hide in one of the containers as a killer, or is that just the survivors?
that's just the survivors.
Oh, because that would have been awesome if she just opened that. You're just like, peekaboo.
Honestly, it took all my effort to not pick Michael or Ghostface, who have the capability of not having any terror radius. So you don't get the heartbeat until they're literally on you. It took every ounce of my strength to not do that. So we ran through some stuff. We did a couple of like, here is what it sounds when the killer's getting closer. You'll hear the heartbeat, so on and so forth. And then we did a couple of little mock games, like where I was like, I'm going to play, but I'm not going to go full on, Heisenberg on this and just wipe everybody out as quickly as I possibly can. Then my wife became the killer just so she could shoot people with her gun because she likes that new killer so much.
Mm-hmm.
Played a couple of rounds. Like, okay, last thing we'll do with Em and my wife in the group is, Em, you go the killer.
Right.
Because you've squealed a lot right now, and that's hilarious. And every time you hear the heartbeat, you're just like, oh no, oh no, oh no. Therefore, completely giving the game away that you are near the killer.
Right.
Hilarious every time. So you go the killer just so you can get an idea of like the field of view and stuff like that. And yeah, so Em is cruel, merciless, and not nice when she's the killer.
I was not expecting that.
Go
She
figure.
really likes being the killer.
Okay.
Because one of the killers is the Wraith. The Wraith has the power to go invisible.
Mm-hmm.
His big tell is he has a big, massive bell that anytime he goes invisible or comes out of invisibility, he smacks this bell and you can hear it in the entire map. You just hear dong, dong, dong.
Mm-hmm.
And it took Em forever to figure out the loadout for this specific killer because she was reading every single perk description and deliberately picking the ones that were complete debag perks.
Oh no.
Including the super, because on the private matches you just get one of everything. It's just like, here is every perk for every killer, here is every item that you can use.
So you can like work on builds and theory craft and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Cool.
So she used the ultra rare offering for the Wraith, which means that when he goes into and out of invisibility, he makes no sound.
Oh no.
And when he's invisible, he doesn't have a terror radius.
Ah.
So the only way you see him is that predator sheen coming through the air at you, which is like,
Oh god.
oh great,
Oh my god. It's a
thanks for
nightmare.
that. And she absolutely loved it. It was like those sinister giggles that you
Like,
hear. Yes.
Just like she's around one of us.
Yes, and it seemed like she thoroughly enjoyed threatening and making us squeal, which is
Right.
fine because next time we play for real, and I get to enjoy it when she
Yeah.
loses it because she's getting chased.
Oh man.
Genuinely, she scared my wife so bad that my wife jumped out of her seat. And it was great. And the reaction on all parties was, let's all just have a laugh and a joke about it. And it was fantastic.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
guess what? Dead by Friday is still really, really fun.
Yeah.
And stupid. Even like playing private match, you don't get blood points, you don't get progress. Who cares? We're just having a laugh. Having a laugh, as the English say. And it was fantastic.
Yeah. That's exciting. That's cool.
Yes, I'm really enjoying that. So fingers crossed we'll get more appearances of M. Hopefully not more appearances of M the psychopath.
Well, maybe unless you're playing against randoms. It's just like let her loose.
Yeah, but
Sometimes
then,
it's fun too being the new person because you're not like you can predict what people are going to do who have played this game for a while. A new person is a totally unknown element, so it's like, okay, they should be over here, and then you turn around a corner and they're right there. It's like, oh, okay.
Right.
yeah. Like me and Rob have discussed it before. Like when we are running away from killers and when we are killers, it's pretty easy for killers to get us and us to get survivors because we do the logical thing. There is a window. I'm going to aim for that window and go for it and try and get through it to slow the killer down. Logic, you do that. That makes sense. When Justin is being chased by someone, he is running around like the stupid squiggly worm in that game where you've got to stretch yourself. Like, he makes no sense.
Right.
It's
Serpentine.
he does a serpentine and then 3 loop-de-loops and a barrel roll and a crouch and a stand up behind a rock and then all of a sudden the killer's nowhere to be seen. It's like, you do that because you literally just... It feels like he puts his hand over the top of the controller and then just shakes it and then sees what happens.
The killer's just like, never mind, man. I don't know what this dude's doing. I'm leaving.
And he succeeds. And full credit to him being unpredictable because it gets him away from situations. But my word, is it stupid to watch sometimes when you're just watching his silhouette get chased and he's just like, and just, okay, sure, why not? My final game this week is Streets of Rage 4.
Yeah, I played a little bit more of that yesterday.
I played a lot more of it and I beat it. Guess what? I wasn't on the final level. I still had like 6 left.
Oh, gee, how many levels are there?
Like 15.
Oh, wow. Okay, I finished level 3 and I was like, hell yeah, man, I'm doing it.
You've got a whole bunch more of game to go.
Yeah, I played it on PC this time, and oh boy, does that look good on PC.
Mm-hmm.
That's the good
Let me
stuff.
tell you about my 4K HDR experience on Streets of
Yeah.
Rage 4.
There you
Yo,
go.
that game is real good.
It's really good. Probably one of the biggest surprises this year is Streets of Rage 4.
Yes. I am going to restart it and I'm going to start playing it as Blaze, my least favorite character from all of the Streets of Rage things. Spoiler alert, Boston. When you beat the game, you unlock a Streets of Rage version of that character. Like, you know the points bar, the points bar that you fill up.
Mm-hmm.
When you get to the very first one, I got to the very first one, and I unlocked an SOR1 Axel, which is a 100% pixelated old school Axel.
Really good.
And I kind of want to start the game again with Axel just so I could experience that.
Have you listened to the retro soundtrack too?
No, not yet.
It's really good. It is very much like, hey, we used the Genesis chipset and made this soundtrack again also.
And this game's got a hell of a soundtrack.
It really does. Yeah, it's crazy that there's just 2 full soundtracks in this game. It's
so good.
It's really good. I cannot recommend enough people. It's on Game Pass on PC and Xbox, and it's really good. Shockingly.
Yes, I think you are correct. The biggest surprise of this year will be Streets of Rage 4.
Yeah. It's good, and it's really good.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, I played a whole bunch of Below. Check out We Rogue Like It. I also played a whole bunch of Slayaway Camp.
Yep.
Check out upcoming Game Club episode next week.
Sounds right. Yep. I should
the
know this,
question
but
mark-
that sounds right.
The question marks are telling right there.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's all I had the time, desire, or need to play this week. So,
That's right.
Mr. Nimp, tell me all about your JRPG Dark Souls.
Actually, that is on the list.
Nailed
So first game I want to talk about is just Octopath Traveler. I've completed the Knight. I've completed the Thief Chapter 2. Moved on to the Hunter, and I hit a wall because they want you to use an ability that I haven't used at all in this game, except for in some instances.
Right.
So I am not ready to use it. And basically, it's the Hunter's Provoke ability where you can capture monsters and be able to use them in battle.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I have to provoke. So we have to find this trail, and I found the trail, and I have to provoke this tree so I can continue on this animal path.
Of
Is
course.
this Lord of the Rings? Do you
Yeah.
ride him to Isengard?
Right.
And this tree is a difficulty 9 out of 10. And since I haven't used this ability at all, and I haven't captured any other monsters, all I had were the crap ones that you start with. So I couldn't
Oh.
beat it. And you can't use like the normal attacks of the hunter. It has to be monsters that you're using that you've captured.
Oh, boy.
So I was like, screw this, I'm done for right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was doing fine until then. I might even skip this one right now and just move, because the last one I have to do is for Alphine, who is the alchemist, and then I have the Huntress's chapter 2, and then after that I'm on to chapter 3.
Hmm.
So I might just skip this one right now, move on to him, get his stuff done. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was like the thing that I complained about last week with JRPGs, where it's like there's always that one part where it wants you to use an ability or do a thing that you haven't had to touch, but now all of a sudden you have to do it, and it's
Yeah.
stupid.
Ugh.
So next I played Code Vein.
Mhm.
I did beat the Guardian for the Cathedral of Sacred Blood. That sucked.
Oh, no.
So I had been doing a lot of grinding in this area. I figured out what I had to do to get into the last part that I couldn't figure out last time. Boss battle starts. All right, cool. And you're in this room that has like these 6 pillars on either side of you, and the boss is just down the middle. So I'm running up along the side, attack the boss, and I'm noticing like I'm taking off large amounts of health. It's like, okay, this is weird, but
exciting.
whatever. And then I beat it within like 10 seconds of starting the fight.
Oh, geez.
I'm like, no, something's wrong.
Right.
And sure enough, cutscene happens, and the second form shows up.
There it is.
I got probably 10 footsteps away from where it started me before I was just one-shotted.
Oh, my God.
Didn't even make it to the second form to attack it.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, so tried it again, got to that second form. I was hiding because the thing that had killed me last time was it shoots a laser beam, or not really, it's like a solar beam thing, but basically whatever it touches catches on fire, and then a couple seconds later that area will blow up.
Mhm.
And that's what got me, because it just like homed in on me and just stayed on me, and I couldn't block it or anything, and it just blew me up and I was done. So I hid behind some pillars, was figuring stuff out, like, all right, cool, this is working out. Then like these purple orbs show up and they start following me around the map. I'm like, okay, this kind of sucks. And the build I'm using is a 2-handed build, and it's not really meant for mobility. It's meant to be a tank where you can take the damage, you can lessen the damage, but it's not meant for you to move around.
Mhm.
And I did this change just before this boss, so I'm still getting used to this, because I was running like a high dex character. It was like I can run, zip, duck, dodge, dive, all that fun stuff.
Right.
I can't do that. If I even run, it starts chewing away at my stamina way too fast.
Oh, jeez.
So I'm running away from these purple orbs. I managed to, make it so that they're not hitting me. And then all of a sudden, like, this purple lightning starts showing up. Okay. Around that time, these like other big yellow orbs start showing up, and they start like mazing around this area and kind of following you, but they're not. They're just on a set pattern. So by the time that popped for the boss, I was already dead. There's just too much crap
bullet hell
going on.
phase started.
Yeah. It's like, all right, cool. Oh, and the other thing was I was able to get in and hit them, but you only get like 1 or 2 hits in, and all of a sudden they do like an AoE on themselves that hurts you. So I was getting it from all sides, lost that one. Go and do it a third time, and I was able to pull through everything and beat the boss.
Nice.
And then it made it look like that there was a third battle after that was something completely different. I don't have the health for this, but it just turned out to be a cutscene. Everything was fine. I had beaten the boss. So then I move on to the next area, which is the Snow-Capped Mountains area. I don't remember what it's actually called, but it's just basically the ice level. Start going through that area, and that one was fairly short compared to the cathedral, at least. But it also has these areas, because you're kind of on a cliff face for the most part. There's also these areas that I didn't realize that will just fall away, and it's just an instant death.
Oh, boy.
So they kind of make it noticeable on what it is, because once you figured out what was happening, you can tell, oh, okay, it's this blue ice, and sorry, there's cops driving by.
They're coming for your animal crimes.
I guess. There's a blue ice on the ground, and it's not noticeable at first until you break it, and then you realize why there's blue ice on the ground. So that took one time. I'm like, okay, I'll just keep an eye out for that crap now. Make it to that area's boss, and I had to fight that thing twice, and it's like this hulking knight thing with moose antlers, and that thing was no joke. Beat that thing. Get a bunch of story development. You start to find out about successors, which were basically vampires that had like these certain specifications where they could turn into like these all-powerful beings or something like that could help defend or attack or whatever certain areas. So that's why I'm starting to run into these guardian people. The funny thing about this particular boss is that this boss was a child at one point. So they're like this big 3-story tall hulking knight with these moose antlers, and after you beat them, you kind of like awaken them so they get like their consciousness back.
Right.
So now you're talking to this giant knight that's a kid who also has like this tiny little Russian snow cap thing on its head now after you beat him, because it turns out that this thing was one of the other characters' like little brother.
Okay.
So it's got like this weird kid aspect to it now that I've kicked its butt, and it's like, well, that's kind of adorable. Why not?
That's super anime. Yeah.
Yeah, it happens. So now I'm in this underground area, and I haven't gotten very far in that. I have no clue what's going on at this point with this particular area. I know there's another guardian in here. I'm supposed to go help fight them, but they're doing something weird that's screwing up everything else. So it's an unknown right now. That's as far as I got. It's been real interesting. I'm really liking this game.
Yeah.
It's got enough crap in it to kick your butt, but it's got a decent story to keep pulling you along.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty fun.
I honestly, I love a good vampire lore.
Yeah.
I don't care what it's about. Like it or hate it, Twilight is a good vampire lore.
Mhm.
Like, Anne Rice has got some fantastic vampire lore. The Masquerades have got some vampire lore that's amazing too. I love a good vampire lore.
Vampires are just cool, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Hot takes. Vampires are cool.
Shockingly enough.
Right.
The next game that I played was actually kind of a random thing because I haven't really been feeling like playing video games. So I randomly started Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen. Arisen?
Risen.
Risen.
Yeah.
God, I love this game.
I tried playing this game when it came out on the PS3 the first time, and just
it was a
never.
rough experience.
Yeah, I never got into it, and I don't know. I mean, it was a rough experience. I don't know if that was part of the reason why I couldn't get into it or what, but it's just never really enjoyed it. Somehow I got this game for free on Steam like forever ago. I don't know if somebody gave it to me or if it was just like a free code I got from something or what.
Right.
But I had it, and I was just kind of looking at it. And I was like, I'll give it another shot. And I did like a 3-hour stream with this game.
There you go.
So I'm playing it on PC right now, which looks and runs really nice. The only thing that sucks is that it doesn't have borderless windows.
Oh,
So
okay.
when the game's up, the mouse is locked into that screen. You can't do anything else unless you tab out of it. So that
Right.
kind of sucks, but whatever. It's an older game. Decided to go with the striker this time. First time I tried a mage, which was fun, but I went striker. That way I could do, which is basically like a ranger. That way I could do long range and I could do short range if I needed to. I made my pawn a mage. That way,
Smart.
yeah, that way I've got a healer and they can do all the status effects to my weapons. That way I can hopefully get through most of the stuff. And I had completely forgotten for like a brief moment that you could grab things in this game.
Yeah.
So the very first thing I did by accident when I was trying to, just dink around with the controls as soon as it lets you in there, it was like I was sitting there jumping around just trying to figure out what everything does. And as I'm jumping around, I hit the grab button to try to grab a rock in midair. And instead I grabbed the guy who was supposed to be walking me through the tutorial. So I'm like in the air and I've got this dude like over my shoulder. And I'm like, oh crap, how do I put him down without throwing him?
Right, how do we not suplex him?
But yeah, and then you go through the tutorial and then you get the big boss fight that you have to do, which is pretty fun, climbing all over this thing, attacking it. It was pretty sweet. Right now I just made it to the second city, the capital.
Okay.
Did that whole walkthrough where you're supposed to be taking this Hydra head to the capital. And I got there and I'm like, all right, I don't know what I need to do right now, so I'm just going to save and quit and kind of figure it out from there afterwards. Because I know, if I remember correctly, I have to find the guild because they are the ones that give you all the quests in that town. But they also make you go underground so that way you can get like this teleportation stone that you can just drop off anywhere. Yeah. So parts of the game are coming back to me, but I just don't remember exactly how I get to point A so that I can get to B to C. I just remember C and D.
Right. Right.
So yeah, that's really fun all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't remember why it like I said, it could have been the mechanics at the time because that game was stupid unpolished when it came out the first time.
Yeah.
So that may have been a lot of what winged me off of it. And this game is stupid dark too. If you don't have that lantern and you go anywhere that there's not sunlight, you're not seeing anything. It's a black screen.
Yeah, nighttime is real messed up.
And some of the bloom effects, even in the daytime, like when my mage powers up my bow with like fire, the bloom effect from my arrow sometimes makes it where I can't see the enemy to shoot it. So, you are blinding me by helping me.
Right.
But yeah, really enjoying the game. I will get back into it and check out because even doing you get like this Cyclops battle that you have to do, and just climbing on that thing and just stabbing it gave me some real God of War, Darksiders kind of vibe. I
think that's when the game clicked with me, where it's like you have your pawn, you have all this stuff, and like it originally seems like it's just kind of a regular action game, but the first time you like climb on a griffin and it takes off, or you climb on an ogre to kind of hit it in its eye, it's like, all right, this is something kind of unpolished, but there's really something about how great this is.
Well, and the cool thing is that this game actually takes because you have like full customization of the character that you make and your pawn. So you can make them whatever you want them to be, fully customize them and all that stuff. And the game takes the weight and height that you choose and actually uses it in battle as well. Because like with those harpies, I had to fight a bunch of those heading to the capital. And I chose a medium weight character the first time I did a heavyweight. And I remembered in the first game, I jumped up and grabbed a harpy and dragged it back down to the ground and then attacked it.
Yeah.
I tried it with my medium weight character, jumped up, grabbed a harpy, and the harpy flew off with me. Like, oh, did not see this happening.
This is a bad time, all right.
Yeah. So yeah, the game is real interesting. Last game that I played this week, because I also did not have a whole lot, was just Call of Duty. Not really a whole lot to say on it. I was just screwing around with it because I haven't played it in forever. So I'm like really far behind on the battle pass. And that's about it. I played a lot of Infestation, which is their zombie mode, where basically all of you get dropped into a map. The timer gets down to 0. When it hits 0, one person out of, I think it's 12 or 15 people turns into a zombie.
Oh, cool.
like right then and there. So a lot of the strategy is that you will post up with some other person and you will aim down sights at them, and as soon as the counter hits 0, you just pull the trigger. So if they happen to be the zombie, you kill them, or if you happen to be the zombie, you kill them, and then they turn over to you.
Oh, I see.
So if that doesn't happen, you still get to keep your weapon until you've killed another player, and then you have 2 zombies, and then you switch to just having a throwing knife and a regular knife. So I had a daily that I had to get done where it was like kill 2 people with throwing knives. I was like, all right, we'll do it in this one because I'm bound to get a throwing knife eventually, because some games, depending on how they go, everyone turns into a zombie. There's no way around it, because every time someone gets turned, it adds more time to the timer, and the game just keeps going.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
So eventually it's going to happen one way or another, and I was kind of being a bad person because normally you're not supposed to post up with all the survivors and then turn and then know where all the survivors are hiding and then go in there and kill them all.
Right.
But that's what I was doing, so I can get my knife kills. So hey,
Yeah.
I've got that done now.
There you go.
But yeah, besides being a huge douche online, that's all I've been playing.
I played a whole bunch more 2 Point Hospital. I had to restart it's either 2 or 3 times the 6th hospital, as I kept getting up to 2 stars. Basically, every level has 3-star ratings, and it's getting to the 1st star is really easy. It's usually like do the thing, research a new type of treatment room for this map and treat 10 people. The second one is usually get your hospital up to some wealth rating, like have it be worth $2 million, and then kind of do the next step of a bunch of those ones. And the third one is usually really crazy. For the first 5 hospital, I got to 3 stars because those are just the beginning ones. 6th one, I had a lot of trouble because I wasn't realizing up until that point that I was laying out my hospital completely incorrectly. So this level was very much like, if you don't have everything running super smoothly, you're not going to succeed at all. And one of the big challenges in this game is how the flow happens is a patient will come in, they'll see a GP, they will go get some diagnostics, they will come back to the GP, and then go get treatment. So there's this real back and forth, so that if you're not putting enough of that stuff bunched up together, you have patients dying like crazy because they're going from one end of the hospital to another 2 or 3 times to then go get treated.
That sounds like the normal hospital I've ever been on, so you're doing it right.
Pretty much, yeah. It turns out it's not a simulation. It's how hospitals are supposed to be run. So I got a really good hospital layout going. I'm going to be using that going forward. It seems to be working well for the next hospital, which is a recently decommissioned hospital next to an active nuclear power plant. And
sounds fun.
Yeah, and there are lightning storms that happen a whole bunch, and every wing that I open in the hospital has like broken and destroyed hospital equipment, and the game keeps like winking and nodding, being like, "It is totally safe." Wink, and it's like, "Okay, cool. That's
so not safe in the slightest."
Not at all. And I'm still really having a blast with this. I'm glad I'm fine putting the time into it, because it's not the most relaxing game in the world, but it's not the most stressful game. It's really riding that line where you have a bunch of times where the stuff is going really well and everything's going fine, and you have some of those theme hospital moments where it's like, yeah, sure, that's fine. I can take on 7 people that need to go see the ward. That shouldn't be a problem. And it's like, oh no, a whole bunch of other people came in with them. I now have like 30 new patients to take care of. It's
a party.
Some of y'all are going to die. I'm sorry. So having a blast with that. Not a ton to talk about that right now. I did finally get a little bit of time yesterday. I had like an hour of uninterrupted time, which is priceless. So I figured I'd sit down and play Final Fantasy VII Remake. In the entirety of that time I had spent all of it getting through the side missions in Chapter 8. So
I thought you were going to say you spent it all in a cutscene.
No,
Maybe.
this isn't Metal Gear Rising Revengeance.
Yeah.
Some of the cutscenes in here get kind of long sometimes.
Yeah. Not Xenosaga 2, which had a 90-minute cutscene.
Sit down and make a movie date out of it.
Yeah. God. That cutscene had a save in the middle of it. Like that was...
There was like two of them.
Yeah, that was the breaking point. But I did all of these side quests, having a blast, doing... I don't mind the side quest stuff in this game. I know that there's a bunch of people that are like, I don't really want to do any of these. That's fine. I have fun doing all this stuff. I got to this point where this guy was like, hey, I need you to... This isn't a spoiler. Hey, I need you to go pray at my wife's grave. You bought the key from the fake Moogle girl.
Yeah.
Just a really great character. So you can go over there and do that. No big deal. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Thankfully, I had just saved before then because...
I was going to ask, did it kick your butt?
100%. It was the scorpions that put you to sleep with their ranged attack, and they put both of my characters to sleep, and just like in classic Final Fantasy, usually this happens with Frog, and this happened with Sleep this time. They just chain you into a status effect and just whittle you down. After I died, this was the first time I died, so it said, continue from battle, continue from checkpoint, or main menu. And I was like, I don't want to play the battle again because I feel like I need to do something else, like look at my materia, which I haven't done for a while. I'm going to continue from checkpoint. They don't mention the checkpoint was the beginning of chapter 8. So like I had none. I didn't even have the side quests, nevertheless completed them. So thankfully I had just saved. And honestly, I put the game's difficulty down to easy, and I'm just motoring my way through this game, which feels real good. I got a chance to play a little bit this morning, so I went through the robot arm puzzle with Aerith between like chapter 8 and 9, and I just got to Wall Market and like just got in there, and I had to come up here for the show. So I'm up at that big set piece now.
Sleep paralysis. It's the other one. Sleep paralysis, poison. There's another one, or like no joke in no, but those are like no joke in this game, and they suck. And there aren't any good ways to help prevent yourself from getting those status effects.
Yeah. I've had a lot of enemies hit me with status effects starting in this chapter, and a lot of them have been fairly manageable. But that just chaining sleep was just that was really rough. But I'm having a blast with this so far. So much of it looks so good. There's like a character or two here and there that sort of looks like maybe you don't look as good as the rest of the game, but nothing where it's like, ugh, 5 out of 10. This game's garbage. Like I've seen some people like, this door texture didn't load. This game's garbage. It's like, hey man, this game is crazy huge. This is not it's really good. I'm enjoying it.
Look at those same people, and they would give Skyrim and Fallout 10 out of 10.
Right.
Also, it's one of those because with the with the doors not loading in, you do notice it, but unless you're sitting there staring at it, you don't really notice it. So it's enough. That was one of the things I had noticed, but I'm not going to complain about it because the rest of the game looks fantastic.
Yeah, and like you should be focusing on these incredible looking characters and like how crazy high fidelity they are. Not this one air conditioner looks weird in the background.
Yeah. Hey, the door sucks, but guess what? There's a music file over here that I just found, and that new beat sounds awesome.
That's right.
I'm not gonna lie, seeing like social media blow up with all the fan art of Cloud and Tifa and everybody else again, it's just like, oh god, I'm like 12 again going on DeviantArt.
Yep, that's right. It's just everything old is new again.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm really enjoying Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I know I have not been the biggest fan of Final Fantasy VII in the most recent years, but this one is real great, and I'm having a real great time. I picked up Lego DC Supervillains a couple weeks ago on like super sale.
Boston, no.
It's one of those things where it's like
We've avoided it. We were clean. We were clean. We got rid of it.
I fell off the wagon when there's like a spring sale where the game is $7 and the season pass is like $2.
For the record, so is The Force Awakens right now, just so you guys know.
Yeah. It's sort of like, all right, let's get back into this. The one thing I really appreciate is one of the choices the game gives you as soon as it fires up is, have you played Lego games before or not? And the option is like beginner mode or like experience mode. Experience. Oh, we're having an earthquake. Experience mode is really great because they don't give you tutorials unless it's something brand new to this game. It's just, hey, here's a pile of glowing stuff. We're going to pop up the circle button over your head to remind you, but like you already know how to build stuff. You know how to blow stuff up. So like I'm going through the first level and just kind of playing like normal, and it's really, really refreshing. And the only time that a tutorial pops up is a character that pops up in the lower left-hand corner of the screen. You click in L3, a little video pops up, but you don't have to do that. You can just keep on going if you don't want to.
I'm assuming you've seen the announcement, by the way.
God. I was wondering if I should have put it in news stories. Yes, I saw the Skywalker Saga is what they're calling it. Yeah, it is 9 movies worth, and they're saying that they have over 500 unlockable characters.
Which, for the record, for those of you who don't know, they released a Lego Star Wars game, which was the original saga. Then they released one, which was the original saga and episode 1. Then they released another one that was the original saga and the prequel trilogy. Then they released another one, which was that all remastered. Then they released another one.
And the funniest part is
one that was just, maybe it was the newer ones, but I know that they released a Lego Star Wars that was just like movie 3. And then like a year later they did like the complete, which was everything and movie 3 or something like that. Yeah.
Well, and of course at the end they're like, there will definitely be new mechanics in this game. It's like, no, there won't. And that's okay. But don't go make it sound like this is going to be a totally different game, because it's not going to be.
No, the new mechanics is going to be you get to play as Rey in the original trilogy. There we go.
That was something I was going to ask. I haven't played one of these Lego games since they added voices.
Yeah.
So how different has it been?
It's depending on the game, depends on the quality. Like the voices in the Force Awakens one were spot on. They were perfect.
Yep.
They actually got them in to record lines for it and stuff like that. But then you get the Lord of the Rings version where it's just like, look, here is quite clearly a line which we ripped out of the movie because it has the background audio at the same time, and we're just going to stick that in here.
Thankfully, they haven't been doing that lately, but that was the Lego Lord of the Rings was a really great game that had just really bad choices around that. But some of the stuff like the Marvel and the DC stuff has largely been really good because it's just someone playing that character and just kind of going way over the top with it. Which
it's
is
usually
really
the animated series voice actors as well for that stuff.
Yeah,
like I know Will Arnett does the Batman for the Lego games. Like he does the Batman in the animated series, and he also does it for the Lego games, and it's great.
Steve Bloom always shows up as a character or two. Like it has everyone you sort of expect, but
because I keep buying the Lego games, but I'm not the one playing them. It's my kids, and my son and daughter have unlocked everything. And like I think it's the first major Marvel one where you unlock like 600 to 900 characters or whatever.
Oh, that game is so good.
He's played that well past the timer capping out, and they still play that. And a lot of times it's just my daughter driving a car and my son maniacally laughing as he's blowing things up.
Yeah. Yep. That sounds all right, yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that was probably Lego Marvel Superheroes or Lego Marvel Avengers.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Whatever one had the Shield Hella carrier thing.
They
Oh,
both,
Yeah, they
I-
both do. Yeah.
I don't know,
and they
'cause I
both
just
take
remember-
place over New York City, and they both have the
I just
exact
remember
same
jumping
movies.
off of that thing every time. I was like, oh, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, the thing that I love about the Lego games is they're all largely the same. And either that's a selling point for you or the reason why you're no longer playing them. And for me, it is very much these aren't heavy lifting games. I can kind of not pay attention to them and I'm still having a lot of fun. And getting 100% unlocked in these games is often a really good time because
Mhm.
you just keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and
Can we
unlocking
rephrase that a
characters
little
is
bit?
fun.
Unlocking 90% of the things in this game is fine.
That's true.
Let me bring
Oh.
my wife in here so she can talk to you about unlocking Deadpool in that Marvel game.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know. There's just something about it that another one comes up and it's on sale for $5 and I haven't played one in a year and a half. It's like, yeah, all right, I can play a Lego game that I didn't even remember coming out. That sounds like a great time. And then I'll scoop up, there's like 17 DLC packs for it, so I guess I'll have those too. So I'll play as
Mhm.
characters I've never heard of.
No,
okay.
never heard of yet. But
That's
if we keep with the pre-show, get
That's
that
right.
timeline fast forwarded a little bit, you'll be there.
Yeah, I'll get deep enough in the Arrowverse shows that I'll be like, oh yeah, it's that guy. Yeah. I did play a little bit more Gears Tactics. I got through the tutorial. The problem I was running into was a display bug. I wasn't supposed to switch characters. For anyone that listened, it was last week or 2 weeks ago. I was supposed to switch weapons to that like stub pistol. That has a Overwatch interruption.
Snub.
Thank you.
Pistol.
I can never remember because I never use the pistols because why
The
would you?
stubby is the shotgun that has the really short barrel that's on the sidearm, and the
Right.
snubby is the pistol from Gears.
Okay. I for some reason I will remember that for the rest of the time, but nothing else from
But
Gears.
they'll still call it a stub.
Yeah. So I was supposed to switch to that weapon and use one of its skills to interrupt Overwatch. So I got through the rest of the tutorial, which was surprisingly long. But it's an interesting mix of we're teaching you about Gears and we're teaching you how to play a tactics game. So it's like you get one of those emergence holes and the game is like, hey, units are going to come out of this every enemy phase, but you can seal them up if you throw a frag grenade in there. I was like, oh, okay, you're sort of mixing the two at the same time. So far I'm having a blast. I finished that tutorial mission. I got a box of gear, which I did not realize was a thing, and I upgraded my weapons, which I did not realize was a thing.
Oh no.
With items that have a rarity on them, which I did not realize was a thing. So
Are there
Nice.
boxes that contain loot in this game?
100%. And it's really like you're putting a new stock or a new barrel on your chainsaw gun, and now you have like another burst of shots in your magazine, and you have plus 5% accuracy. I now realize why. Who made it? Splash Damage, I think, did. Why before the game came out, they're like, look, we don't have loot boxes, we don't have microtransactions or DLC, because I could really quickly see how
It's
someone
being monetized straight into the ground.
right, like
Yeah.
it's only $50 for this. It guaranteed a whole set of epic loot. It's just like, hey man, play these missions and you're gonna get a little bit stronger after every mission.
So come here and get your gold barrel.
That's right. So I'm on the first real mission now, which is, hey, go recruit a whole bunch of gears for this mission that you're being sent on, and that's what I'm doing. I ran into two other people. The lady has a shotgun, and the dude just has a flamethrower. So it's like, all right, yeah, man, you're definitely coming on my team. So we'll see. Now that I have sort of the technical issues taken care of, I'm hoping to dig a lot deeper into this because putting gears and tactics stuff together is my kind of jam. Yeah.
Can I just real quick here? Sorry, I got a little bit distracted by Splash Damage because I knew I recognized the name and I couldn't figure out why. So weirdly enough, they seem like a studio with a weird history. They released Wolfenstein: Enemy Territory,
That's right. Yep.
then Enemy Territory Quake Wars, which I find very interesting that those two
Yes.
have the same name. I'm
Right.
guessing that's multiplayer mods or whatever. Then they got we're just going to farm this out to you guys with the Batman Arkham Origins, which is a good game.
Yep.
They did Brink.
They did. That's right. The real dark period.
Yes, and then they did basically every Gears game since then they've worked on.
Yep. Yeah, I think they're basically. I don't know
Support
if
studio for Microsoft. I don't think they're first party.
No, they're not first party like the Coalition. Is that what they're called? The Gears studio? I think they're basically. I think they're like a third party. It's not like a. There's those remaster houses like a Blue Point and stuff like that. I don't think they're like that. I think they're one of those like Vicarious Visions teams where it's like we're sort of owned by this other company, but we really help out with like a strike team where it's like, all right, these people need help with Gears, bring in splash damage, and that's a pretty good gig, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, Gears Tactics seems great. A lot of people that have been playing it have said a lot of really great stuff. So I'm hoping to start diving into this pretty soon.
And if everyone's interested in getting into video game development, Splash Damage are currently looking for 33 new people at their London office. So
wow, that's great.
Sounds like they've got some possibly big deals going on for I don't know, the next generation.
The next Gears game.
This Gears game getting an up-res. Come on.
Yeah. And the last game I played this week that I shockingly probably won't talk that much about is Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Believe me, we have been on your Twitter journey with you. We have seen the developments. We've seen the outfits, the sharing.
Trying not to be super annoying about it because I follow some people where their feed is only Animal Crossing lately. I had a really bad day earlier this week, and it's like, you know what? I know what will make me feel better is buying Animal Crossing, and I did. And I have been enjoying playing it like an hour or two every night. Like, I'm laying in bed, the rest of the family is asleep. I'm on my little island digging up fossils. This is my first Animal Crossing game, so it is a very...
You are one of the millions, trust me.
Yeah, and it's a very steep learning curve for some stuff where people are like, oh yeah, switch tools, but just doing like right and left on the D-pad. It's like, wow, whoa, okay, mind blown. All right, let's do this. But yeah, I have 4 people on my island right now. My kid really loves helping me play the game. She now likes to imitate Tom Nook. Every morning she asks me to see my island.
That's a dark portent for her future.
I know. Well, I mean, Tom Nook doesn't charge interest, so, it could be a lot worse.
He also doesn't get his hands dirty either. That's why he has enforcers.
That's why he's got his nephews.
He's smart. Yeah. I'm having a lot of... I don't have a lot to say about it because I feel like everybody else on the internet is talking about it nonstop, and I don't want to be one of those people that's like, hey, I did all this stuff, but I'm doing all the normal stuff, just making my Nook miles, going to other islands, getting a bunch of people on my island, and just kind of... I'm not doing the time-skipping stuff that I know is so divisive in the community. I also don't care if you do it. Like, just play Animal Crossing how you want. But I like that short ritual every day of I'll be closing out my
doing the dailies.
Turning in my dailies. Like I like having just an hour or two where I can kind of do this really chill, super relaxing game and kind of do the circuit around my island, clean everything up, and then I'm kind of done.
And right up until an event starts or KK Slider rolls into town and you get the best experience ever.
That's right. I have not yet had KK visit my island. But
3-star minimum, I believe. Maybe 4.
I don't even have any stars yet. So
How are turnip prices this week?
I just built Nook's Cranny, which is so good. And today I had my first opportunity to buy turnips. So They have been like in the 40s and 50s all week, which has been like
That's bye.
that's
Bye.
real bad. So I haven't. I only had one person visit my island, and that was Moon's wife Jess visited me and gave me a whole bunch of great stuff, including super early. I got the DIY plan for building a ladder, which means I could explore my entire island like way earlier than I should have been able to, which was really great. But yeah, I bought like 100 turnips this week just to see what the stock market will have for me.
Thank you for correctly terminologying that.
You're welcome. They really push the stock market terminology in the game a lot, which is, this game really loves puns, and I kind of hate and love it
until
at the
you
same
meet
time.
the streamer.
I have not met the streamer.
Wait until you meet the streamer and you see exactly where that goes. That is hilarious.
Oh man, coming straight out of Forza Horizon 4, the streamer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you have no idea.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun, and I'm not playing a ton of it every day, and I feel like whether I'm, the community will probably tell me whether I'm doing it right or wrong, and I don't super care. I just like having that. It's like the same thing when you get a good mobile game. It's like, all right, I've got a little bit of time here at night, check in with my thing, do my dailies, do my stuff, and build my island, and it's fun. I like it, and it's been a good time. And it has also sort of been what I need right now, which is just this kind of blue sky fun
That's
thing.
weird, because the entire planet agrees with you.
Yeah, it is. In its first, it's been out for a month, I think. In its first month, the game has outsold Nintendo's lifetime sales projections for the game. So
Yes,
doing pretty well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And good on. I saw the tweet from the localization team this morning, talking about like the jokes and stuff like that, and how even something so small like changing a minus to a positive in text.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a dumb joke. But you know what? It's all about positivity, and that game is positive unless you have specific plans that you can't pull off, because that might induce a meltdown. The less said about that, the better.
Yeah. Or if you don't like someone that moved on your island, then it's kind of would feel bad pushing them out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You don't. Just push them around until they literally get mad at you, and then they leave. It's great.
Eventually.
I hope I won't have to push out anybody. I have a couple of villagers I've seen online that I would really like that smug cat with the 2 different colored eyes. Love to have him. Love to have the sheep that looks like a clown because nobody loves him. I'd like to have that guy on my island, but there's
Pietro or whatever?
Pietro, yeah.
You're taking the same approach to your Animal Crossing villages as you do with your cats.
Yes. Are they broken? Are they sad?
Yeah.
Please move into my house. Yes.
Well, Boston, let me tell you that you can actually find a website that lets you know people who are willing to sell you their Animal Crossing characters.
I have heard about.
You can have them.
I've heard about Nookazon, and I have not gone there yet because I feel like that might be the beginning of a problem. And I also don't like how some people are like, hey, you can totally get this person, come to my island, but you have to leave like a deposit of this many bells and this many Nook miles and stuff. That stuff sort of sucks. So I'd rather, at least now, like roll the dice and go to one of these other islands and see if there's someone there and meet them and see how they are. Because the other thing too is there's like 350 villagers in this game.
Yep.
And you can have 10 of them on your island. And it's like, I'm sort of going to roll the dice and see who I get. There have been some villagers I've run into out in the wilds where it's like, you are not coming back to my island. I don't like how you look at all.
Let me tell you about
jitters. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about a villager who lived on Steffi's island, who my wife went to see and despised him, and then 2 days later moved onto my wife's island.
Yep.
Well, there you go. I spread my love that Bam is apparently moving onto your wife's island, which is really great. But hopefully nobody terrible moves on anybody else's island. But yeah, it's really great. I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I don't want to talk too much more about it because you, the listener, probably have heard too much about it from your Twitter feed. So
yeah, go check out Boston's Twitter feed if you want it in snapshot form.
Yeah, kablang. That's where all that stuff is. But that's all I'm playing this week. So let's take a break. Let's talk releases for the week of May 11th, 2020. Super Mega Baseball 3 comes out. PC, Switch, PS4, and Xbox One.
When? I haven't even started 2 yet.
Now you can have 2 unstarted Super Mega Baseball games on your console. I totally forgot the second game even came out. I know they're really great. I know I would like them. I just never have gotten around to playing them. And I know I'd like them, and I just need to make the time, and I don't have the time.
Wasn't the second one free with gold a while ago?
Both the first one was games with gold after a while, and then when they announced the second one, I'm pretty sure it came straight to games with gold, like opening week that it came out. It was one of those new games with gold.
Yeah. If I could stop playing Lego games, I could probably play other stuff, but whatever.
And Destiny.
I'm not playing a lot of Destiny right now.
If I could stop playing roguelikes, I'm sure I could do it too.
You know, all you have to do is just start an 8th podcast.
Hey, don't tempt me.
Don't even suggest that around him, because he'll do it. And then he'll make up some excuse to rank stuff as well.
Right. I was just going to say.
This is the podcast where I play the games that I wanted to play.
That's right. And then I'm going to rank them. Yeah. All right, let's move on to news stories here. Microsoft showed off a ton of new third-party games in their... Let's address the elephant in the room. They called it a gameplay live stream where they're going to show off a bunch of Series X gameplay.
It wasn't. It was trailers.
Yeah. Except for, I think, Dirt 5. We didn't really see a lot of gameplay. A lot of them had that disclaimer on the bottom where it's like, we're expecting the graphics to be this great on Series X. That's fine. I know that there was an expectation of a lot of
it.
Yeah, it should have been like a new games showcase. You know, it's very much, here are the third-party partners and here's stuff they're bringing. So they agree that was sort of a miscommunication. Otherwise, a pretty good show. You know,
And they have immediately come out and apologized. Said, yes, this was something we should have probably taken another look at the name of. Number one, good on them for that. Number two, I have seen about half of this because I got halfway through it and then I was sitting next to my wife and I realized I can't play things like these in front of my wife because she's
The hype train leaves the station.
Yes. 1,000%. When we do the E3 show, folks, what you guys at home don't know is Boston will sit there and I'm sure he'll watch them while the kids are around because it's relatively safe content, so you can just have
Except
that
for
while you're doing
Ubisoft,
stuff.
they're all good.
Yeah. I don't know how Nimp does it. I'm pretty sure it's probably the same for him.
I sit in my office with the door closed and watch it.
I have to watch them on my phone, the tablet, or up here in the office.
In the bathroom.
I'm literally not allowed to watch them in front of Jess.
Honey, what are you doing in there? I was just watching E3. No, don't come in.
Yes. Exactly. Because otherwise it's like, oh, there's a game we'll pre-order, and there's a game we'll pre-order, and there's a game we'll pre-order.
Scooping
and
them
we'll
all.
forget about it. We'll see them on the store and be like, that's the thing I saw at E3, ignoring the 6 months of negative news that have come out since then, and we'll just buy it.
Yeah. Microsoft also did announce that they're going to do, calling it Xbox 2020. They're going to do monthly video showcases like this, where they're going to do, I'm assuming, up until the launch of the console, but they, of course, did not give a window for that because I don't think they want to say, up until November, wink. But, we'll see.
Here's a fun fact about how time has been distorted, by the way.
Right.
I saw a lot of people talking about this and being like, oh, Microsoft are going to show first-party stuff in July. And it's like, why are they showing stuff in July for first-party for a console that comes out this year? Why are they waiting to next year to show a video that comes for
That's
this
15
stuff
months from
in
now.
July? Legitimately, that's what I thought for until literally right this second when I looked at the calendar. Wait, it's May, July, 2 months away. Okay, they're showing first party stuff in 2 months. Okay, that's good.
2020.
Yes.
Oh man! All right, well let's run down the list here in chronological order of what they showed. They showed Bright Memory Infinite. This is the game I'm calling not Bulletstorm because I was very sure this was Bulletstorm 2. This is the one where it's single player Bulletstorm with just a bunch of papers and junk blowing around the level. I guess this came out on PC out of early access earlier this year. They said March 2020, and that sounds like about a decade ago, so who knows? But I guess this is like an improved version that's going to come out on Series X. I don't know a super amount about this. They showed off Dirt 5, which I was fairly sure was going to be Forza Horizon 5.
100%. That was going to be my next question was, did you get a Forza Horizon vibe from this? Because this looked like a Pro Horizon game.
There's like a festival, there's a bunch of racing, there's a cool song, and I was like, why are they... and
seasons changing.
Right. My first thought was, oh, cool, Forza Horizon 5. My second thought was, wait, this isn't a first-party showcase. So what is this? And it was Dirt 5, and I was like, that's just as good, because Dirt is really good.
Mm-hmm.
This is also launching on PS5. Codemaster says you'll be able to choose between 4K FPS or a lower-res 120 FPS. So, very excited to see what that's going to be.
Yeah, especially with, like, one of the reasons why Dirt has always been one of the best racing games is because they sync the control. This is behind the scenes BS, so feel free to ignore me, but they sync the control refresh rate to the frames of the actual game. So Dirt and Burnout are the two racing games specifically that have done this, where your inputs are based on the refresh rate of the screen. Normally it's like, I think it's like 12 to 32 inputs they read on the controller per second.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when it's running at 60 frames a second, if it's getting 60, that allows that finesse of control that you'll feel in Burnout and Dirt that you can't get in other games, is because it's registering that input that much faster. And Dirt at 120 frames per second.
Make my eyeballs pop out.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is one of those games where I look at and think, I know it's a cliche to launch a new console with a racing game, but you look at Dirt 5 and you're like, yeah, but I'll probably buy Dirt 5 on launch because, number one, it's going to look really great. Number two, the Dirt games are really good and they're really fun. So
there is also a reason why, as soon as she saw my ex with my HDR running Forza Horizon, my wife bought an X and a HDR TV.
Yeah. Yeah. Next up was Scorn. That's the H.R. Geiger game.
Yeah.
It just looks gross. Still no gameplay from this game whatsoever. Some people are saying that apparently it's a Metroidvania type of thing, but all I see are like skeleton meat walls, so I don't know. I don't know.
Skeleton meat walls of phallic objects.
That's right, Geiger. They showed off Chorus or Chorus, if you want to.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Can we have enough of this, please?
Yeah, no more V's.
No more V's is used.
Yeah, churches did it. I get why they did it. Google results. People stopped doing it. This is going to be a smart delivery game. I like that they're sort of aping Control's style, where it's like, here's a bunch of pillars and it's very red. They're saying that this is a single-player space combat game when we kind of never get those, so that in and of itself is exciting.
It looks like a spaceship game with like out of the cockpit FMV sequences or cutscenes. I'm fine with that because that action looked fast. It looked insane.
Yep.
It makes me think of R-Type in a 3D space.
Yeah, that's the stuff. They showed off Madden 21 with quote unquote smart delivery. It's Madden. I don't need to sell you on it. Let's talk about EA's total pooching of the smart delivery system.
Can we rename that as well, please? Can we rename this from smart delivery to shill delivery?
There you go. So how smart delivery is supposed to work is if at any point you buy an Xbox One game, you can get a free upgrade to the Series X version or patch or however they're going to do it on the back end. EA says, quote, to receive the offer, that being smart delivery, players must purchase the game on Xbox One by December 31st, 2020 and upgrade it to Series X by March 31st, 2021. So, number one, on the surface of it, at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal because it's just one version of Madden that this is going to apply to, and you're probably going to buy it day one anyway if you're interested. So, like, at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal. But from a marketing standpoint and from a consumer confusion standpoint, it should be one set of rules. It should be smart delivery for Madden 21 is the same as it is for everything else. You buy an Xbox One X, you get a free upgrade to Series X. And
stop me if you've heard this before, but the relatively friendly consumer organization CD Projekt Red, aka Good Old Games,
right,
give you smart delivery. Yeah, here is a free upgrade. We don't care.
Right.
The money-grubbing Project $10 FIFA Ultimate Team EA
online pass
give you a limited time offer to upgrade, and then I'm sure you'll have to pay an upgrade fee because they did it in this generation too. People forget EA did that from the 360 to the one, and they did it from the PS3 to the PS4.
I think for EA for the next gen, I think it's going to be even worse. I don't think they'll let you smart deliver. So I think you'll have to buy the $60 Xbox Series X copy, which if you just bought a new console, you're probably going to do anyway, but it sure would be nice to buy a $5 copy of Madden 21 and get a free upgrade of that to the console you just bought for potentially $600. So it's a bummer, not a surprise coming from EA, but it's still kind of a disappointment. And at the end of the day, it's Madden, so whatever. The
we
trailer
like games.
The trailer that got me to turn this off of my giant 4K TV that I was enjoying all these trailers on 4K and because my daughter decided to start watching it was Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2.
Yep, I'll do it.
Before we go too much further, was the next one the one that made you put it back on the 4K TV?
No, I wish, but that would have been nice because the rest of them were totally fine, but vampires making some horrible mannequins was not something my 3-year-old needs to see. And of course there's singing, so she's like, oh, who's singing? It's just the vampires, sweetheart. Yeah, that looks like another Vampire the Masquerade game, and not a ton of gameplay there, but looks great.
As someone who has never played a Vampire the Masquerade game, I am extremely interested in this.
Yeah.
And I have been hearing some things that they are working on in this game, like some of the lore things and stuff like that. And every single time I hear anything about it, it's like, okay, maybe this is a game for me.
Well, I mean, you are a noted vampire lore lover, so
yes,
this game's ready for you to love.
Also RPG lover.
Yes, yeah. I'm the first one is a cult classic that is deeply flawed from like a bug and gameplay perspective that fans have fixed over the years.
Protocol.
Yes, very much so. But I'm hoping that they really knock this out of the park at launch because I think this could be something really special, especially on a next gen of consoles. Being on brand, I loved this next game, Call of the Sea. This is a smart delivery game. This is a first-person island adventure mystery puzzle game. So that's 100% a game for me.
Did Jonathan Blow make this?
No, I don't recognize the studio who make this, but it looks very much like that, The Witness and Talos Principle and stuff like that, like these first-person adventure exploration puzzle games. So really like how that looks. The Ascent. This is another smart delivery game. This is that isometric, futuristic solo or single player co-op RPG.
Is this the one that looked like a twin stick shooter?
Yeah, like the futuristic cyberpunky kind of thing.
Yeah, because the trailer got me really interested, and then as soon as I saw any form of gameplay, I was like, nope.
Yeah, I think this could look I think this could be potentially pretty cool, but this needs like a 15-minute gameplay trailer as opposed to here's like a 30-second sizzle reel sort of thing. I don't think you can sell that on something like this. The Medium is the next game coming from Bloober Studios, which is apparently a studio that a lot of people are like, oh yeah, Bloober. I've never heard of before.
This is also where I stopped watching.
Yeah, this is, I'm calling this Budget Constantine. This is with the Silent Hill composer.
Stop watching Arrowverse shows, dude.
No, it looks like Constantine, the movie, the one with Keanu Reeves. This, to me, this looks super derivative of like 4 different things.
Is one of them Layers of Fear? Is one of them
yes,
Observer?
I think that's Bloober.
Is one of them Blair Witch? Because that's all Bloober.
Yeah. So I mean, they have a pedigree there. Yeah. I don't think that is a trailer that sold me on this game at all, and I don't mean to be sort of glib about it, but
it's also not a game for you. I mean, come on.
No, yeah, I mean, I
haven't even seen the trailer, and just based on that library of games, it's not a game for you.
I can get behind thriller stuff, and I can get behind horror stuff every once in a while, but a lot of it just didn't look super great. Scarlet Nexus. This is a smart delivery game also coming to PC and PS5. This is that 4K anime game. So it just looked like super clean anime BS. Which
very, very anime.
It's a Namco Bandai game, and it's an anime game, and I think you already know what you're getting into.
Namco Bandai.
Yeah,
it's the Tales devs.
I will say though, it looks like it's got some cool stuff, like Astro Chain did, where it's like you're fighting some pretty big things, and you're doing some pretty dumb, crazy anime things.
And part of why I'm happy they showed Scarlet Nexus here is it's not all these games that are like, here's hyper realistic mud dirt racing, here's this super gritty and dark thing. It's like, no, here's like 4K 60 FPS anime business. It's like they're showing a whole bunch of stuff here, not just the grim dark stuff that you typically see. And I thought that was cool. Second Extinction, another smart delivery game. This is a player versus dinosaur multiplayer co-op thing where
I know what I need to sell to Emma and my wife.
Yeah. This is a 3-player game where you...
No, get away from me with Ark. I will not touch that game on principle alone.
That's the beginning of a problem, man.
Honestly, I've always wanted to play Ark, and I think I've actually said on the show before, I refused to buy or play that game because they released a $60 DLC while the game was still in beta.
They just mishandled.
Get thee away from me.
Yeah, this I don't think this looks super great either, but I think this wasn't a really great trailer. And I think if they can release something where they show, like, does each character have their own skills, and are there like larger dinosaurs to fight? But this one just looked like a lot of waves of dinosaurs, and you're fighting them off on a planet. And I don't think it was a super great trailer. A super great trailer that came after that, though, is Yakuza Like a Dragon. This is Yakuza 7, the title here in the US. That's smart delivery. It's a launch title for Series X. And
I got 6 games to play.
Yeah, it looks really great, and I expect it to sort of look and run super well on Series X, because it looks and runs really great on PS4 and Xbox One. So nice to see that this series that didn't have a life in the West even like 3 years ago is now on like a key player on Microsoft's big push on their brand new console. So
it reminds me of The Witcher.
Yes.
Like watching The Witcher go from the tiny little game that
weird European
insane
game.
People play.
Yeah.
And now, it's front and center of all games ever.
People chanting in the background, Witcher. Like, yeah. And lastly here, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, another smart delivery title. They had been promoting this as their gameplay trailer, and it didn't have any.
Shocker.
But it looks real good still. A lot of Vikings cutting stuff up and longboats, and I mean, I'm already into this game, so they don't really need to show more stuff. But
no, just please. Please have her be the person in the cloak. Please.
I know. The one big thing that I thought was interesting this week is someone on the development team, I don't know who it is, he came out and said that this game isn't going to be as bloated as the last two games have been, which after Odyssey would be a welcome change, because there was, we even talked about it at the time, little too much stuff in that game, even if you're not 100%ing it.
Little is an understatement, dude.
Yeah, that game was big, and that's fine. Origins was big, and I thought that was sort of big enough, but Odyssey was crazy. So a smaller experience, I think, could be pretty good. Boy, my kid is just super yelling downstairs. All right, that's all the news stories we got, so let's move on to questions here. T-Bomb Rock says, you've lost your position as the CEO of video games for unspeakable crimes. I mean, they were always going to catch up with me. So.
Did I work for EA?
Oh, God, you can't just say that. The overlord of video games passed your sentence. Your life is now a roguelite. Oh, God. What 5 skills from a video game would you want while you serve your time?
Dodge.
Yeah. I mean, the great part about a roguelite is you're always going to come back. You're just going to have a new hairstyle.
Mm-hmm.
Triple jump.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, see? You got dodge and triple jump. Air dash.
I feel like I would want whatever skill will let you scoop up currency from further away.
You want magnetism.
Yeah, I want my magnetism, because I gotta escape all this horrible stuff in the basement. I just want to scoop up all that stuff from a little bit further.
I can't wait for you to walk through a Staples and just end up with a whole bunch of paper clips on the side of your face.
That'd be great. No, that's for the next Dead Rising game. It's like, now yes. I am the staple gun. What are the other classics? Ability to see hidden things, like breakable walls. It's like, yeah, if I throw a bomb over there,
specs.
Yeah, bust that open for some hearts. Maybe a wall chicken if I'm lucky. I don't know what else.
Oh, that seems like a really harsh sentence, that your life is now a roguelite.
Yeah, that seems cruel and unusual. I mean, I know my crimes were unspeakable, but they couldn't be that bad.
Have you been following the Geneva Convention of Video Games Twitter account? Because that thing is hilarious.
Jimbo Jangles in chat says, I want the magic circle that spins around me, damaging other stuff. That's a really good one.
Oh, that's the old choice. Protective circle kind of spell thing.
Yeah, I like that one.
Give me a good magic missile any day.
Yeah, get some good range. Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of too many others.
It would depend on the setting. Because if I'm at home, I just give me a really good APM. If I can, get on with my life as normal. But if you throw me into some weird ninja world, then give me sword skills.
That's right.
Or even better yet, if you throw me into the ninja world, give me an AK-47 with as many rounds as I need, and I'll be fine.
Up my stealth.
Don't say make it so that you can hide within the shadows.
That's right. Angel Eye writes and says, with the impending release of The Last of Us 2, I've been toying with replaying the first game. I haven't played it since release weekend in 2013. Do you guys go back and replay older games when a sequel comes out, or just roll into the new one without the refresher? How long ago would a release be for you to consider going back?
There is no time limit. I have 3 examples of this.
Okay.
Example number 1, Mass Effect 2. I bounced off Mass Effect 1 when I first played it because I just could not get past it. I couldn't get past the PC nature of that game.
Yeah.
When Mass Effect 2 came out, I started watching the trailers for that, and it was coming out on my birthday, and I was like, oh boy, now the hype train has left the station, but Mass Effect 1 still sits there unfinished.
Choo-choo, baby.
I beat Mass Effect 1 or every single achievement in 2 weeks to start Mass Effect 2.
Wow, yeah.
My other examples, Deus Ex, whatever the new one is called. I'm not going to go down this street again.
Mankind Divided.
Thank you. I desperately want to play that game. I haven't finished the first one.
Yeah.
The the Human Revolution. I haven't finished Human Revolution, so I will not play Mankind Divided until I have played Human Revolution to the finish.
Right.
And my final example, I have owned The Witcher 3 for about 4 years now
Yeah.
and refuse to start it because I still haven't beat The Witcher 2.
Right.
Did you beat The Witcher 1?
No,
Well,
because that's not available on my platform of choice, so therefore
also,
it's
you
fine
shouldn't
if
play
I
The
don't
Witcher
beat
1.
that.
It's not a great game.
But yeah, I am cutting myself off from genuinely great experiences because my stubbornness to not play them without playing the first ones.
Right. Well, and I think, especially to Angel Eye's question here, if it's a game that's like 8 to 10 hours that you can knock out before the sequel comes out, like,
Oh yeah,
play it again. Or like, if it's something that's kind of a little bit longer, like when Kingdom Hearts 3 was coming out, it's like, all right, I will watch a 45-minute Kingdom Hearts lore video as
100% what I did.
as opposed to playing like 400 hours
of,
again. It's hard.
We're not all
Especially-
Mina.
That's right. It's hard, especially with there being more and more great games that I feel like I have to play coming out, that going back to play another one again, to me, feels like time I can't afford.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
I'll
why
say
should
for
I...
me, it's-
Oh, God.
I was just gonna say, for me, it's like I just beat Xenoblade Chronicles 2. It's like, oh, I want to replay the first one
Right.
because I have this story now, and luckily for me, they're remastering it with the new graphics from the second game for the first game. So all I have to do is wait to the end of this month and then replay that, which is going to look a lot better,
Mhm.
and hopefully play a lot better. But yeah,
It's a hard prospect, and I understand the desire. My concern too is I also don't want to like burn myself out on something where it's like, am I going to play The Last of Us 1 and then like by the time Last of Us 2 starts, it's like, oh yeah, I just played like a whole game of this. Like I'm kind of burnt out of doing all this clicker sneaking.
In your case specifically, we know you're not going to do that anyway because you despise The Last of Us.
I really do. Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of the first one either.
Yeah. I'm definitely not a fan of how they're promoting anything in the second one.
I think I own it, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
They put it out on Plus forever ago, so I have a new
that's right.
remastered copy of it. But
You think I've got Plus?
I'm just letting you know.
You think I'm slumming it in Plus?
Ultimate for life, baby.
That's right. T-Bomb Rocks asked, take out the rumors that Xbox has purchased Sega. Now the next Yakuza entry will be day and date on Xbox Series X. I'm wondering when we start to see Atlas games on Xbox. I'm sure Phil would strike a second deal to get their games on Game Pass.
Oh, 100%. And Atlas is one of the best JRPG makers on the planet, so
Yeah.
let's get him in there. Give me a Persona collection on Game Pass, please.
Yeah. I feel like that has to be one of the studios that Microsoft has to keep courting all the time, where it's like, hey guys, just the console keeps getting bigger. We've got, we've got Game Pass, we've got all this stuff. Like, we can pay you up front for all this stuff and you can have it on the platform.
Let me show you this little thing here called Monster Hunter World. Why are you not on our platform yet?
Right. Yeah, between like Monster Hunter World doing super well on Xbox and the Yakuza series also doing super well, and now Square Enix bringing out a lot of the Final Fantasy games on Game Pass. Like, there's just this snowball starting to roll where it's like, yeah, Xbox is a solid platform to bring Japanese games out on, as we've always known. But Game Pass is also, it seems attractive for a developer and a publisher that here's this, from rumors, it seems to be Microsoft upfront gives you a guaranteed payment of, this will be on Game Pass, we give you this pile of money, and then anything else going forward. It just seems like a no-brainer of a deal if you can get that stuff up and running on that platform.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I assume Atlas will continue to be a holdout, as they have been a holdout for the longest time. But
don't Sega own them now?
No,
Yeah.
Sega Sammy owned them for a while, and they It's one of those things where, like, Sega wasn't owned by themselves anymore, and that's split off like 2 or 3 more times. So I don't remember who owns who anymore. Yeah, it's all confusing. And last question here from T-Bomb Rocks. If you could travel anywhere in the world to play your Switch at a mythical rooftop party or on a hotel balcony, what city would it be and what game would you play?
The Burj Khalifa.
Hmm.
Just because that would be an impressive cold day on top of that building. Imagine trying to play Mario Kart while your hands are freezing off.
I was gonna say, what would you play up there?
Right.
God,
that's a good question.
I'm not gonna lie. I've had like a lot of on Windows 10 when you have like the sleep screen and it shows you like the different pictures and stuff like that from around the world.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I've been getting like a lot of small like Swedish villages, and it's like, oh, it's this small little village with the nice Alps in the back. That would be kind of cool to be on a porch of one of those with that nice mountain range to look at, just playing some random game. I don't even care at this point. That would just be cool.
You sort of stole my answer, because my answer was going to be, you always see those pictures on like Instagram or Twitter or whatever of like, wouldn't you love to live here? And it's like a tiny house on this big giant island all by itself, and there's no other landmass in sight. It's like, I just want to go there. I want a little bit of quiet. You know,
not that we're all introverts or anything.
Well, also it's a challenging time right now. Everybody's stuck inside, and it'd be nice to.
I did say on the porch. I didn't say outside hanging out with other people.
Sure. I mean, that would be the true dream, but
even if it wasn't for COVID, 20 foot of contact, bare minimum.
Yeah, that's right. I don't want to see you. I don't want to hear you. Just go away.
I'll give you a polite nod, and that's all.
That's right. Oh man. All right, well, that's all of our questions for this week, and that's our episode. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us on the right-hand side of the page. Patreon.com/E1M1, the ones are numbers. Early access to ODNF, Critical Misses, We Roguelike It, everything else we rank. That's all there. Uncensored behind-the-scenes stuff, the stuff we talk about before we start recording the show. Patreon.com/E1M1. We are wrapping up our latest Game Club game, Slay Away Camp, and we'll be choosing our next one here in about a week or so. So our recap episode should go up next week. I think that's about it, right?
I don't know anymore, dude. My brain is frazzled.
Yeah.
Check out the store. There's stuff.
Yeah, that's right. The merch store. The link is on the right-hand side of the page. And I think that's it. So we'll see you all next week.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm going Foghorn from this point onwards, by the way.
I like it.
Every time.
I support you.
You have to do a high and a low. It's like, bye.
Bye.
Perfect. I like it. All right, Nimp, hit me with your titles.
All right, I have Dash for the Battle Pass, Spam Troll, Not Going Full Heisenberg, Predator Sheen, Anime Crimes, Stub Pistol, Stalk Market, and Another Reason to Rank.
All right, Moon, how about you?
Just Cross It Out, Sinister Giggle, the Psychopath, a whole bunch more game, Ride Him to Isengard, Being a Bad Person. This one probably gets a veto, but a huge douche online.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's good.
We Were Clean with an exclamation point. Doing the dailies. 2020. And Shill Delivery.
Shill Delivery. I have to provoke this tree, which is good, but maybe a little long. It's Just the Vampire's Sweetheart. Predator Sheen, Anime Crimes, Sinister Giggle, and Shill Delivery. Anime Crimes is really good. Predator Sheen is a lot of fun to say.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes the cut, though. Shill Delivery I like.
I like We Were Clean. I
Look at
mean,
that.
for me, it's Anime Crime, Sinister Giggle, and We Were Clean are the top three.
Okay. What do you think, Nimp?
I like Anime Crime, Predator Sheen, and We Were Clean.
Sounds like Anime Crime is our winner.
Mm-hmm.
Circling it. Let me know when you guys are ready.
I'm ready.
Whoa. Had one in the chamber already.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Because I've got an Anime Crime that I want to complain about.
I'll
Okay.
just hover over the beat button.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 655 for May 11th, 2020. Anime Crimes.
How could you end Naruto like that?
I'm pretty sure I did whatever this is.
All right, that's our episode. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out with us. We'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.